Breakfast. Breakfast at Tracy's.
You what, love?
Saying breakfast at Tracy's. Sunday breakfast. Can't beat it. Morning, everybody. It just is morning. Still morning. We're very lazy.
Just had breakfast. Or brunch.
Yeah. Just talking about when we got out of the army, when we came back from Germany, what we were doing for a living, and I think we both did go for a short spell to the laundry. Pat, you worked inside, didn't you?
Yeah.
And you liked it, didn't you?
I had a lovely little machine where you put shirts on and folded them all up and then put cardboard around collar to keep collar stiff, and then you put it in a little plastic bag and they all stacked up. That's where I learnt to fold shirts.
Right. Yeah. It wasn't. No, I don't know.
Not hard.
You liked the job?
Yeah, I did.
I don't know what brought it to an end.
No, I can't remember.
Can't remember.
I think I needed to go full time.
Yeah, right.
Somewhere.
Yeah, right. And you finished up, didn't you go to that?
I went to a place just at back of York Road, didn't I, doing sewing on a machine, because that's what I'd done before I got married. Work sewing.
Yeah, you were a machinist.
Yeah, making dresses up and trousers.
And as you can imagine, Pat's sewing was very neat.
A bit slow.
Yeah, but it was very neat. And he had you, didn't he have you doing, I can't remember now what the expression for it was. Wanted you, I don't know.
I can't remember.
You can't remember.
My memory's terrible. No, I can't remember.
And what about...
I stayed there until I...
You had to get 2 buses, didn't you?
Yeah, I had to go into Leeds bus station and then get another bus from there up to back of York Road. And that was when I found out I was having our Tracy. So I stayed there right up till I was 8 months pregnant, and then I finished.
Right.
I had a nice friend who worked there, and she had 2 little girls. I think we've got a photograph of them, haven't we, outside our house?
We
with
do.
me holding Tracy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, right, that lady there. Oh, she worked
I
there,
can't remember
did she?
her name.
No.
Can't remember her name now. As I say, my memory's shot.
Yeah.
Whether it's just a mechanism for shutting everything out, I don't know, but it definitely works, shutting it all out. Most of the time.
So over like a couple of years, well, I had those 2 jobs on the haulage. You had worked at laundry and you worked at that factory there. Is that it?
Yeah, I think so.
Just those 2 jobs
those
there.
2 for
Right. I just wanted to get you in on the.
Yeah.
I know when I worked at the laundry, I had a round. Whereas I've been a van mate in the past, this time I had my own round. And I saw some amazing sights, really, while I was doing that laundry round. Because you went round all the housing estates in Leeds, and some of them were really rum. I know you used to shove your head at door and shout, "Laundry!" And the smell was so strong, it took your breath away. And I always have this one memory. I mean, this housing estate where I went, people lived in very poor conditions. And in fact, I'll tell you a story of one family where I went. And you went round the back of the house to get into the house. It was just a council semi. Is that Tracy?
Yeah.
And there was the door, and it led into the kitchen, and there was another door leading into the front room. And there was no carpets down on the floor, it was just flagstones. And there was a tree going in through the front door diagonally into the living room and into the fire. So the end of this tree was in this fire. And in the corner was a massive great coloured television. And I just found the contrast so ridiculous. Me and Pat didn't have a coloured television at that time. It was just a little screen black and white telly. But I remember these people where I went to used to give me arms full of dry cleaning. And they used to spend a lot of money having the clothes dry cleaned. And smart clothes and all. They must have gone out dressed at nines on a night. Even though they lived in such primitive conditions, they went out dressed up. I thought that was funny.
Yeah.
Right. Anyway.
See you in a bit.
See you in a bit. When we come back from Germany and lived in Armley, in that house, we had, and Pamela were no longer living with us. Andy, who was my best man, he got out of the army, and he came to live with us. He had nowhere to live at the time, and he came to live with us for a while. And it was during this period that I met a load of lads in a pub. Well, they weren't just lads, there were women as well. In a pub, and they were all art students. And during that time, I mean, it was while I was in the army, I was thinking along, you know, art things, reading strange books, right into Kafka. And Arthur Koestler. And I met these people who were art students at Leeds, and they were living in a commune on Laurel Grove in Armley. And I used to go around there. They lived in appalling conditions. Typical art students, and they were doing drugs as well, but it were only grass, and compared to nowadays it were very mild. Not that I have any experience of drugs nowadays, it's just people tell me that they're much stronger than what we used to smoke. And that's where I met Melvin. Melvin came from Leicester, did Melvin. And it just shows you how free things were in them days, because Melvin was on the dole, but he went to art college. He wasn't an enrolled student, he just went every day. He attended the lectures, and he even got involved in one of these performance groups called John Bull Puncture Repair Outfit. But Melvin just more or less spent his time learning to play the piano. And I met him. He was one of these students in this, well, probably in the pub. I don't think he was, because Melvin never drank. I probably met him at Laurel Grove, and we both had a similar taste in music. And I got quite involved with Melvin. We became good friends from that period, and Melvin would turn up later in my life, as you'll see as we go through it. Also, there was a guy who was one of these guys, was Jeff, and was a member of the George Gurdjieff group. Not a band, this is some kind of American-based philosophical group. Is it philosophical? Is that? They weren't religious, sociological. I don't know what you call it. It was a something about reaching a stage of perfection. And Jeff and Andy had already left, and Jeff, he came and he was an artist. He was at art college as well, was Jeff. And I remember watching Jeff paint, and he used to paint upside down. I remember him doing a painting, Fountains Abbey, I think it was, and he was painting it. It were upside down when he was painting it. He was an amazing chap, but he finished up becoming like the caretaker. He used to go on a weekend and spend the weekend at this house somewhere in Yorkshire Dales. I'm not sure where. You want to look it up if you're interested. Gurdjieff. Yeah, an interesting thing. He didn't talk unless he had something to say, didn't Jeff? He never engaged in small talk. And we used to, at that time, we used to, every weekend, Fridays and Saturdays, we used to go to the Royal pub in Armley, and it was a right lively pub then. There used to be a live band on, and we made friends with people in there, and one of them used to do a right impersonation of Tony Christie. Oh, he had a right voice on him. Las Vegas and all that. He were really good with Bruce. And I used to, at the end of the night, I used to go around and ask people, do you want to go to a party? If they said yeah, I said, right, 50p. I used to get 50p off everybody and buy a load of booze, and we'd take it back to our house. And we used to have some right parties in our house in them days. So this is before Tracy was born, of course, and I mean, it were cruel in a way, because with them being back to backs, we did disturb the people in the house behind us. You know, when you're young, you don't give a damn, do you? So yeah, that's part of what was going on at that time. Just highlighting a few things from that period. See you later.